with actress, stuntwoman, and film producer Melanie Wise. As a lead actress in the film Hannah's Gift, Melanie won Best Actress at the Indie Fest Film Festival. She is also a founding member of the Artemis Women in Action Film Festival, now in its second year. Welcome to the show, Melanie.
Thank you so much for having me, Susan. It's awesome.
Thanks for coming on board. I know you guys are quite busy out there with the film festival. So how did you come up with this idea for a Women in Action Film Festival?
We are very long-time fans of strong female characters. Two of my team members, Zach Baldwin and Sean Newcomb, are both writer-directors, and they have always written really strong female characters. And, they've both had, many offers for their scripts if they turned their leading character into men, and neither one of them was interested. So, and in producing our own projects and trying to bring them to market, encountering such difficulty, we were finally just looking at each other one day, and it was like, well, if we want to see more of this in the world, we're going to have to create a space for it to happen. And that was pretty much how we came up with the festival.
So it's interesting you said that, because when I was on your website earlier today, it had some really large amount of stats about leading roles in action films and women in leading roles in an action film. But what you're telling me is sort of interesting, because what you're saying is that Hollywood really has not embraced this idea of a powerful women in action movie.
Yes. Well, in all honesty, I think that you're looking at a number of factors, because quite frankly, if you really look at it, women in leading roles have had much fewer cracks at doing action films. So like when Aeon Flux came out, with Charlize Theron, I mean, it bombed, and I think the reason why it wasn't successful is because it wasn't a great film, but then you saw all of these articles about how, women in strong female roles is box office poison. Well, it's not true. And it hasn't been true for decades. I mean, we can go back and look at Aliens or the Terminator series, but the bottom line of it is, if when women in action fail, they say it doesn't sell. When men in action fail, they just make another movie. So,
it's the Hollywood double standard, right?
Oh, sadly and extraordinarily, absolutely.
So how did you come up with the name of the festival?
Well, Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, and she is typically just, she's a powerful physical character. And, depends on which pantheon of gods and goddesses you look into, but you can find some pretty, again, badass gods and goddesses. And we wanted, if we were going to name the festival, we wanted it to be the quintessence of a strong female energy, and I think Artemis says that.
Yeah, I love the name. We were just speaking before about why the film festival is so important to break new ground in the filmmaking industry, but I also wanted to ask you if you think that having a film festival about women in action is useful to the generation of women coming up, so that they can see that women are strong and sexy and can do things like you as a stunt woman. I think that's also a very important issue. Would you agree?
100%, 1,000%. I mean, one of the things, I come from a very long history of strength conditioning and fitness and that sort of thing. And I also grew up on a farm. And it was a blessing in a way. I think my dad thought he was raising two boys, not two. So we, we did hard labor, and we did anything that, boys would or men would do. And so I didn't grow up with the idea that women were a weaker sex. It was, if you set your mind to do it, you could. And I'm certainly not the only woman on the face of the planet that believes it, but it's like, I think we really need to break these stereotypical boxes women are raised with. And I think one lady said it best, I can't remember who it was, is that, she said, from the moment they smack you on the ass and say it's a girl.
Oh. I like that. I'm going to have to remember that one.
Yeah. So it's it is one of those where I would love, if I could leave one stamp in this world, it would be helping women see
Yeah.
that anything that they want is
It's
possible.
possible.
Anything. And we relegate so many things. Well, that's a woman's role, or this is a man's role. And quite frankly, I think some of the things that are men's roles, like taking out the trash or mowing the lawn, those are women's roles too. So it cuts both ways.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad to hear that your dad was sort of like an equal opportunity dad. That's really cool. What kind of films will we be able to get to see this year at the festival?
We run the gamut of, both documentary and narrative stuff. A lot of science fiction, some straight fight action. Our documentaries, there's such a large variety of them, and they're just absolutely stunning. Things about, whether it's combat sports or this year we have a film about the first women's boot camp ever, and basically it was wilderness training. And so in 1965, I think 26 ladies went to this, like the inaugural edition of this boot camp, and they started with, these were housewives, that went to this wilderness camp, and by the end of it, in order to graduate from the boot camp, you had to go out into the woods with a knife and a match, for several days and survive, and they did it. And this is the part that I've been harping on for a long time, is that they actually checked in with the women that were in the first class. And a very, very large percent of them went on to very successful business careers. And basically what you're looking at is they pushed the limits of what women could do. And they started physically.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
It is. It's very interesting. So when... they think, people look at, and I don't sit and say, well, everyone's got to go to the gym and work out and be buff. That's not what I'm saying. But what I have learned in a way that becomes difficult to articulate adequately is that when women challenge themselves on a physical level and then succeed or exceed what they thought they could do, it really... pretty much blows the doors off of what they think is possible just out in the world in life. And we need more of that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it builds self-esteem. When you're trying to do something physically challenging and you think you can't do it, and maybe the trainer with you thinks you can't do it, and you do it, it's such a feeling of exhilaration and power, which is hard to come by. You mentioned you have some action films in the repertoire this year. Are there any films specifically related to MMA?
Oh, absolutely. We've got several. We've got, I think 2 or 3 Muay Thai films, some narrative, some not. I have some really cool news that I can't quite share, but yeah, we have MMA stuff. So.
Not even for me? You can't share it with me, the cool news?
You know what? I am going to share it with you. We're going to screen Fight Valley.
Oh, wow. That's very awesome. With Holly Holm and Misha Tate, right?
And Cyborg.
Oh, yeah, and Christiane Cyborg. Sorry, Christiane, I forgot. Not that I was picking girls. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I think...
Great news.
It's awesome, actually. So, yeah, no, we've got some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline. Some of our shorts are just, what these people are accomplishing with very little resources is really awesome. And there's more news to share. I just kind of have to button my lips and be quiet for a little bit longer, but I will share it as soon as I can.
We'll probably have to do another interview with you on that one then, for sure.
There's going to be, for the people who can come, there's going to be some really amazing stuff, some, decently profiled stuff as well. So yeah, and we should have a fairly well speckled red carpet too.
Awesome. Yeah. Personally, do you have a favorite female fighter?
I do, actually. It's Chris Cyborg.
Okay. Oh, now she's going to be mad at me that we forgot to mention her. I'm so sorry again, Christiane.
No, I think she is the epitome of power. Anyway, so here she was, and it was a discipline where she'd had 3 professional fights. She went up against a woman who had 35 professional fights and was the champion in the discipline. And she lost the first 2 rounds, and in watching it, I was just absolutely floored. She didn't get rattled. She wasn't worried. You didn't see any, her face, you didn't see the fear that hits a lot of people when they are in a situation where they're not doing so great. she, and then in the third and fourth round, I mean, she was astounding. She was amazing to watch. And just being able to see that solidity and willingness to step into a ring where, I mean, she doesn't have a lot of, she's got chops, but she didn't have a lot of experience in that particular discipline, and she still did it. So I was like, I admire the woman. I admire the hell out of her.
Yeah, I have to share with you that when I was first reporting at MMA, I got to meet her, and I was so impressed with the fact that she was staying late and signing autographs with kids, and was just, she's got this hard persona, because that's what the way she needs to be, is a strong women's MMA fighter. But she's just so genuine and nice, and I really enjoyed meeting her. She was really great.
Yeah, one of last year we had a fight, a film in the festival called Fight Like a Girl. That's the one that Maureen Shea is in. And the filmmaker and I have since become friends. Her name is Jill Morley, but she also produced a very short interview piece with Chris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, earlier in the year, where we're going to screen that as well. And, I have always just been amazed with how down-to-earth she is. Very down-to-earth woman. Or Chris Cyborg is.
And, of course, the entire MMA community is waiting for Ronda Rousey versus Cyborg, but we can only hope, and we'll have to keep on waiting. By the way, thank you for making me a judge this year. I'm really excited. What is the criteria for judging, just so our viewers can understand it?
Mostly we have drawn from many different walks of life, but a lot of the people that are our judges are, either they work with film festivals. Last year, one of our judges runs another of his own festival. A lot of people, film reviewers. One of our judges was an actress. Another one was a woman who wrote specifically on action films. And then we have a UK judge named Helen Oakley, and she's coming back this year. But she's a writer, director, actor as well. So, I mean, I would say that the criteria for judging is, someone that is actually familiar with the industry of film.
Well, I'm honored to be a judge. I can tell you that right now.
I was really excited you said yeah.
You're giving out some special awards this year. Let's talk about that.
Well, we like to, the thing that's interesting is the history of women is almost like a lost history. Even, present day stuff. I mean, we have our athletes are out in the world and they're seen. But, a lot of our inventors, a lot of our business owners, our CEOs, those kinds of things are very hidden and not well remembered, even by women themselves, which is the thing that blows my mind the most. So one of the things that we have done and will continue to do is recognize the people that we think have given amazing contributions to the action genre of film itself. So actresses, stunt women. It is our hope to actually recognize directors. The interesting thing of in action films is that generally they are directed by men. Very few women actually direct women in action. So, so we typically recognize those things. Like this year, we are going to recognize Yancey Butler because she has done 4 years roles with strong physical presences. We've got a few other actors, but I can't tell you just now.
All right, I'll wait for that.
And then we're also going to have Dana Grant, who is Charlize Theron's stunt double. She did, her and her team did all the stunts on Mad Max. She also used to do Lucy Lawless's horse stunts on Xena. So she's going to get our Stunt Warrior Award. And Jessie Graff, we just announced Jessie Graff yesterday. She's going to get our Stunt Next Wave Award because, well, first of all, she's just kind of like, this is going to sound negative, and I don't mean it this way. She's like a freak of nature. This woman is astounding. I mean, the stuff that she can do, the physical strength she has. I mean, her athletic accomplishments are astounding. She's, she's got some pretty high belts in several martial arts disciplines. Right. She tumbles, so it's like she's amazing.
You recently did a crowdfunding video. Let's roll some of that so our viewers can see it.
Okay.
I'm Melanie Wise. We are the Artemis Women in Action Film Festival crowdfunding campaign, because female action heroes need love too. Please look at our crowdfunding campaign and show the world that female action heroes matter.
Oh, this is so funny. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, we are an irreverent bunch. So I think that's the first and biggest part of the story. But we wanted something that we all of us believe that you can get messages across with humor a lot easier than pounding on the door. And so we took the situation of women in film, specific to the female superhero, and made it a little ridiculous.
It's funny. It's absolutely hysterical. And well done, by the way.
Thank you.
How can people contribute to the Women in Film Festival, Artemis Women in Film Festival?
They can go to www.womenkickass.com, and that directs to our Indiegogo page. And we have a number of perks there. And there's going to be more stuff coming. We're actually going to have some signed pictures and stuff from some of the people that we are honoring, as well as some of the special screenings that we're doing.
Wow, cool.
So yeah, we are gonna have some like things that you can only find on our crowdfunding page, and I do expect our ticket sales to do very well. And right now, the only place you can get tickets for the festival is through our crowdfunding page.
All right. What are the dates for this year's festival? Most importantly.
It is April 22nd through the 24th, and that's a Friday through Sunday. We don't have a location yet, but we'll have that sussed out very quickly.
Let's talk about last year's first annual event. It was quite a gala.
Yeah, no, I was, I almost fell over when the former mayor showed up on our red carpet. So yeah. No, we had a live radio broadcast. We did red carpet interviews. There's more, and I'm completely forgetting what it was, but we had Dot Marie Jones. Right. She plays Coach Beast on Glee. Kristana Loken, who was the Terminatrix in Terminator 3. Oh gosh, there's more. Jane Sibbett from Friends actually was on our red carpet. Antonio Villaraigosa. Angela Merrill is, she's pretty much a gold standard in terms of Hollywood stunt women. She's an amazing lady. She's been doing stunts for over 2 decades, and I think she kind of like made it into the spotlight on Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that one. Okay. Wow.
She's an amazing talent. But she also authored her own book, and she's also an actress. We had Sheena Metal, who is kind of like an LA radio legend. She moderated our stunt panel. So we had 8 ladies talking about stunts, and I mean the audience was just grinning from ear to ear the whole time. So not only did they get to learn a lot about why or about women doing stunts, but they got to do it with a lot of humor. One thing that people don't realize is that when a man does a fall, they'll pad up the clothing underneath all of his clothing. And when a woman does a fall, they may be in high heels, they could be in a really short dress. And so it's kind of like, they're doing a high fall or, falls on stairs and concrete and all kinds of stuff with no padding. So it's actually a tougher job if you're a woman.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah. Speaking of heels, I've got to ask this question. As a stunt woman, what's the worst thing you've had to do in high heels?
I'm sorry.
As a stunt woman.
Yeah, I know. The only reason I'm laughing is because I'm 6 feet tall, so they never want me in heels.
Okay. Well, that's a blessing then. Gotta love that.
Yeah, no, it's a blessing for me because I think I can run in heels, but I haven't had to do it on camera ever. So.
Let's talk about your weekly Twitter party. How did that come about? And tell our viewers how and where they can join in.
We started that last year, right before our first festival, because actually we started we have a fan-backed festival for 2 years in a row now. So they started there, and last year when we finished the festival, we decided to keep them going because, I don't know, we just felt it was necessary. There's so many issues around gender parity and women's empowerment and physically strong women, whether it's combat, whether it's military, whether it's, film. There's just so many corners of strength that you can actually discuss and start, influencing opinion. So so every Thursday night on Twitter between 7 and 8 p.m. Pacific time, we gather and use the hashtag WomenKickAss and have a discussion of some sort. We usually have a theme for the week, so.
It's awful fun. I've been on a couple of them. I encourage our viewers to definitely check it out because you get to talk to some really cool people and you never knew who was going to show up on those Twitter chat parties. Switching gears a little bit, I want to go back to the stunt woman aspect of your life because that is also a big part of your life. How did you ever become a stunt woman to begin with?
Honestly, fight scenes are just fun. They really are. And that's one of the things that I've learned in talking to other stunt women. It's like one lady, when she was asked, about doing car gags, she's like, where else can you drive? You can speed at like 90 miles an hour on a road, wreck the car, and not get a ticket or hire insurance. I mean, come on, it's just fun. So, but no, I got into it because I wanted to do my own stunts. I do think that sometimes with stunt doubles, you can kind of see it if you watch closely. The body types are slightly different, and stunt women literally work very hard to mimic body language and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Because, actors will move very differently than stunt people, so stunt people have to mimic that. And the other thing is because of my size, it would be very difficult to find a stunt double.
Okay.
So I think that's the genesis of it. Mostly, it's just plain fun.
Speaking of fun, what can you share with us what might be a funny story from set, something that our viewers could kind of get a behind-the-scenes experience about?
Well, in the Hannah's Gift is a low-budget horror film, and in the final climax of the film, we have the killer is literally over my chest with a pair of scissors that are this long. They're not plastic; those are live scissors, and. It was one of those where it was like, okay, if she misses, I'm literally going to die. But so, you have those kinds of things. And then it's like, I think anytime you're on set, artistic people are pretty wacky. Yeah. So there's always laughs. There's somebody's doing something to make someone else laugh. And it happens so much and so often. It's like a coagulation of genius, nerd, geek kind of people, So it's usually very fun.
Yeah, I know I do some work for Entertainment Tonight behind the scenes, and so I've been a lot of film sets and behind the scenes, a lot of TV shows. One thing that always strikes me as well, it's really like a family unit. Anything else you want to add today?
Oh God, how much? How many lifetimes do you have? No, honestly, if I can add one thing, is this. Crowdfunding is incredibly hard work. A lot of people feel like if they give $1 or $5, that it's not a sufficient amount. And I just want to say, you know what? It's very helpful. Those things do add up. And so if you are moved and you don't worry about having a pocket full of money, we're going to appreciate every cent that comes our way.
And hopefully this interview will help you get some money as well. Before we go today, I would like to put up the full screen again that shows how you can donate and support the Artemis Women in Action Film Festival. Thank you so much for your time, Melanie Wise. I really enjoyed it.
It was an awesome pleasure. Thank you so much, Susan. I think you're going to have a lot of fun judging.
I know I will, for sure.